Good day, everybody. Chris Harline here, coming to you with this week's Wealth Report. Today is Friday, October 24th. As we head into fall here, I'm excited to address some of retirement's biggest non-financial challenges with you today. But let me do this. Let me start by simply saying thank you. Thank you for the trust you place in us every day. The success you've achieved, the careers you've built, the businesses you may have sold, it is truly remarkable. And because of the disciplined planning and strategic investing that we've done together, many of you over the years, for so many of you that we've retired, we can say with confidence that the heavy lifting financially is already done for most of you. Your wealth is not just built, it's positioned to keep your financial plan resilient. But today I'm going to deviate a little bit from the norm. I want us to look beyond the numbers. In our bi-weekly wealth reports to you, I often talk about capital markets, I talk about tax strategies and estate planning, but our vision for your life, it must be more than money. It must be about significance. And the truth is, the biggest hurdles many successful people we work with face in retirement, they aren't financial at all. They're generally emotional and relational. When we talk about retirement, which is what we do day in and day out, we're not just simply talking about quitting your job. We're talking about replacing an entire structure of identity, an entire structure of purpose and social connections that may have been in place for what could be 3 or 4 decades. First and foremost, what I see during many retirement transitions is what I call the disappearing identity. And if you think about it, many of you have built tremendous companies. Maybe you've helped build tremendous companies. You were the CEO, you were the partner, maybe you were the executive, maybe you were the team leader, maybe you led a team of tens or hundreds of people. Whatever it was, that identity comes with built-in purpose, built-in control, and respect. And when it comes to many of us, it can define who you are. When you walk away, that defined role doesn't just transition. It often vanishes overnight. And this can lead to a quiet but profound loss of identity. You were an accumulator, a builder, maybe a decision maker. But now, what defines your days? We see that the most diligent, high-achieving people are often the most at risk here. They feel they need to find a new job title in retirement, whether that's a dedicated philanthropist, maybe you're a master gardener, and for many of our clients, they want to be world travelers. What I like to stress is that retirement is the beginning of a new career, the career of being you. The second major non-financial challenge is that loss of social connection that happens. Why? Because for years you had a guaranteed network. Every meeting, every client lunch, every office crisis, it was a social connection even if you didn't see it that way. When that routine stops, isolation can creep in. This isn't just about missing colleagues. Studies show that social isolation can actually contribute to health risk and mental health challenges like depression and anxiety. What I want to encourage you to do is to be intentional about creating new and meaningful social outlets that fill those prime working hours that you used to fill. Whether it's volunteering, mentoring, maybe joining a dedicated interest group, your mind needs to be challenged every day in retirement, just like it was during your working years. In your spirit, it needs community. Now the third one, this one probably stands out more than any consistently across our client base, and that's the psychological challenge of actually spending your wealth. Let me paint the picture. Here's a challenge that sounds maybe contradictory for somebody with your wealth. It's the fear of spending. Many of our clients, you are champion savers. That's why you're where you're at. That's how you got here. But now it's time to switch from being an accumulator to a distributor. And even with a beautifully modeled rock-solid portfolio, many affluent retirees, you struggle to let go of the purse strings, don't you? In many cases, you may feel anxiety instead of elation when you spend, worrying that you're dipping into the reserves too fast. Here's what I want you to understand. This is a psychological hurdle, not a financial one. All of you that we've retired already over the years, remember why we created your withdrawal strategy? We ran the simulations. We built in the buffers. The money is there for the life you designed. This is why it's crucial to switch your mindset in retirement from worrying about the next dollar you save to focusing on the value you're going to extract from the dollars you spend, whether it's on an adventure with your grandchildren or maybe it's the vacation home that you've always wanted. Just a few years back, I wrote a book with a prominent divorce attorney in town about this very topic. And as you're considering walking into retirement, I call this the spousal stress test. And what I mean by this is retirement can place an unexpected stress test on your most important relationship. We see that the divorce rate for those age 50 and older has more than doubled since the 1990s. Isn't that amazing? It's a phenomenon we call gray divorce. Why is this happening? Because suddenly one spouse who was gone all day is now constantly home. Maybe they're disrupting the other spouse's routine. See, resentment can build when unspoken expectations collide. This is why, as part of our holistic planning at REAP Financial, we strongly encourage open communication. Our process of bringing you on and uniting you guys on the same page financially and getting a lot of the soft issues out of the way, that's purposeful. You must talk about expectations. Who handles the house? What days are reserved for you, maybe your solo hobbies? And how will you define togetherness versus separate, meaningful purpose? Obviously, this isn't a one and done conversation. It requires ongoing check-ins together. At the end of the day at REAP Financial, we believe the greatest return on your capital is a life well lived. That means we look at your wealth planning every year, not just as a spreadsheet, but as the key to unlocking your next great chapter. So as I wrap up here, I have 3 concrete steps for you to be thinking about as we walk into the back end of the year here. For those of you that haven't retired yet, here's your first task. I want you to consider practicing retirement. Before you fully retire, take a mini retirement. Take a sabbatical. I want you to test drive a few of those big retirement ideas. Do you really love that remote mountain town for 3 months? Or does it make you feel disconnected? Number 2, I want you to seek new structure. I want you to be intentional about setting up a new daily schedule with purpose. I want you to set up a daily schedule with community and something that's going to intellectually challenge you. Don't wait for it to find you. You got to be proactive here. And 3, if you haven't visited with your advisor in the last 12 months, if it's been longer than that, I want you to consider scheduling a check-in, not just to discuss your investments and the progress we've made together over this last year. For those of you walking in retirement, this is where we want to discuss your new sense of purpose, your relational goals, and how the financial plan can serve your life, not just the other way around. As I open with today, you've done the heavy lifting. You have the wealth. Now let's ensure you have the well-being to fully enjoy it year over year. As always, thank you for entrusting us with your future. I'll be back in the coming weeks. Until we speak again, all the best to you and your family.